Alright, so this video is to explain how to graph an inequality. So we kind of dealt with this a little bit before when we had a number line and you put, like a 0, 1, -1 on there. And like you're graphing x is greater than -1, you'd circle, open circle, and you shade to the side. Well, this one is going to be in two-dimensional space. This is going to be in a coordinate plane. So you first need a coordinate plane, which I've already got made. What up? And from here, I need to graph the line and then shade it. So just like how on the number line there's shading, you're going to shade, but on the coordinate plane here. Okay? Step one is to get your line down. So you're going to graph this line like you normally would, except your line is going to look different based on what your inequality symbol is, just like when you had open and closed circles. But you're going to start out the same way. You have a y-intercept of -4, so you go to -4, you start out with a point there, and you have a slope of 2. That means you're going to go from this -4 up to and right 1 to get another point. You can do it a couple more times. Up to, right 1, up to, right 1. Okay, you can see which direction the line is going to go now. And so you're going to draw your line. But there's a little tiny difference in how your line's going to go, and it's completely based on this inequality symbol. If you have strictly greater than or less than, that means you're going to have a dashed line. Okay? And that's what we're at right now. We have a strictly greater than, so we're going to have a dashed line that's going to look something like this. And it just goes through the points, and it keeps going like so. And it goes in both directions, okay? The strictly greater than gives you a dashed line. Okay, so now that we got the line done, we now need to shade. And the shading, you're either going to shade this side of the coordinate plane, or you're going to shade the other side, which is this side. Okay, your shading would pretty much look just like that. Okay, but we have to figure out which side is going to get shaded. In order to figure that out, you have to figure out which points satisfy your inequality here. And really, to figure it out, you just pick any point, and then you put it inside the inequality. You put in the y, you put in the x, and from there, if your statement is true, you will shade that side of the line. If it's false, you shade the other side. So a point you can pick that's really handy most of the time is this point 0, 0. So if you take that point and you plug it into your inequality here, you plug in 0 for y, and you plug in 0 for x, 0 for x, and you compute this, and you look at it really closely. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 4 is -4. Is 0 greater than -4? Well, if that is true, then you will shade the side of your line that has that point that you're questioning. This one here, the 0, 0. This is true, so you're going to shade this side of the line. The side here that has the point 0, 0. And you're going to shade everything. So, typically, it can get really messy, but if you just use those straight lines, that'll kind of help it stay clean looking. So that's how you can graph an inequality. So let's try out a new one. This one's going to be a little bit different. Still draw the line, but this one's got a little bit different inequality symbol. And we'll deal with that in just a little bit. So let's get some dots down, some points that are going to help us draw our line. It has a y-intercept of +2, so you go to +2 on your y-axis, put a nice point there, and use your slope, the -1/3, to get other points. -1/3 as a slope means you go down 1, right 3, and put another point. Point right there. You can go down 1, right 3 again, get another point. Or you can go the opposite direction. If you go the opposite direction, you go up 1, left 3. So if I do that from my y-axis, I get there. And if I do it again, I get this point. Okay, so you can see the direction the line's going to go. And here's how it's different from the previous one. It has a less than or equal to sign. The or equal to is going to turn your line into a solid line. So you're going to make a solid line that goes through those points there. And it is ready to go. Oh, that second one was crappy. Blam. Okay, much better. Okay, so now we got the line. If it has the equals to part, then you're going to make a solid line. The last one didn't have the equals part, so it's a dashed line. This one's going to be solid because it's got the or equal to part. Okay, so now that's done, we need to then figure out which side gets shaded. Is it this side or the other one, which is on this side? Okay, you just need to pick a point. I like picking the point 0, 0 because it's really easy to compute with. And then you plug it into your inequality. So if you take 0, 0 and you put it in your inequality, which used to be y, it used to be y is less than or equal to negative 1/3 x plus 2. But we're going to put the point 0, 0 into that inequality. So y is 0. Your x gets replaced with 0. And you just got this. So is 0 less than or equal to 2? Well, that is true. Since that is true, this point here, 0, 0, is part of the solution. And that is on this side of my inequality. So you're going to shade this direction. Okay, and let's try one more. This one, once again, you're going to start by getting your points. And then from there, you can decide if your line's going to be dashed or it's going to be a solid line, and then which side, up or down, left or right, gets shaded. So I'm going to use my y-intercept, which is -1, to get me my starting point. So I get a y-axis right there at -1, and use your slope of 2/5 to get other points. So from this y-intercept, go up 2, right 5, and you can get another point. So up 2, right 5, you got another point there. You only need 2 points to draw your line. And this inequality is strictly less than. So since it's strictly less than, you're just going to have a dashed line. Dash. Oh man, that's not even going the right direction. Dash, 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 dash. I know it's pretty, guys. Dash, 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 dash. Okay. Make sure it goes across your coordinate plane. Make sure you got arrows on it. Okay, now we're at this point where we had to test a point to see if it makes the inequality true. And I typically like to pick the point 0, 0. You can only pick 0, 0 if it's not on your line. If your line goes through the center, you can't use it. But this one did not. But we can choose any other point. Let's pick a different point, like this point here. Let's not do that one. Let's do this point here. The point -1, 1. And we're going to plug that into our inequality here. So let's jump over. Here we go. Our y was -1, so we're going to put that where y is. The 2/3 is still there. And x was -1. And we got to subtract 1 here. So -1, is that less than -2/3 minus 1? Well, -2/3 minus 1 is, in fact, -1 2/3. Okay? Is this statement true? Is -1 less than -1 2/3? The answer to that is no. Okay, so you need to go to your graph, and this side that has that point is not going to be shaded. So this side, this upper left side, will not get the shading. It's the down right side that gets the shading. So, as a review, the strictly less than or strictly greater than ones give you the dashed line. And to decide which side gets shaded, you need to pick a point, throw it in your inequality, and then see if that statement is true. If it is, you shade that direction. If it is not, you shade the other direction. And that's how you graph an inequality linear function.